It's on.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking loud too. I'm like really loud. I'm a loud person.
Yeah, your high pitched laugh, the like second ha you hit.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's not the first one. It's not the first one.
The first one's like a normal.
Yeah, it's like, and then the next one's like,
it leaves you unassuming. This is like, oh, this dude just has a normal laugh after the first like, huh, and then the second one just comes in hard like,
the fucking wavelength. Yeah, that's 100% my laugh. And you know, I don't know if I've always had that laugh. I think I got it in I don't know if I got it in high school, but like I've always had like throughout high school, I had a different laugh all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had me and this guy Josh Garrison, which was our drummer at the time. We both had the same laugh. We both did like my laugh, you know, which you'll hear throughout the podcast. But then Josh had an identical laugh. So I don't know if I got it from Josh or because I hung out with him every fucking day. He was our drummer. Mm-hmm. And I skateboarded with him too. And I had like several classes with him. So did I get it from Josh or did like we both just happen to have the same laugh? I don't know.
They just developed it at the same time.
Maybe, yeah. But then I also had a Johnny Knoxville laugh, which is like that kind of laugh where you laugh with like your whole mouth open. Where you're like, and that's not even it, but like,
yeah. It's hard to reproduce laughs.
Yeah, because when you're like trying to tell me to do my laugh, like I can't fucking do it on the spot. It just has to be something funny.
I picked up a laugh from my dad where it's like a weird hiss. I just go like,
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's just like my chuckle to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a.
I think if I did that, someone would think I was faking my laughter.
I
Which I really don't do that often. Because if I don't think something's funny, I just don't laugh. It's like, yeah.
Whenever I don't think something's funny, but I don't want to be a dick normally. So if it's just somebody I'm talking to, like somebody stops me on the street or somebody stops me in the fucking grocery store or something, you know, like there's those people who are just walking around in there, they have nothing better to do but
to you.
Yeah, they have nothing better to do than just to talk to a random stranger, and they tell you something, and it's like, I don't really fucking care what you just said.
Do you
right
think
now.
that like, not to interrupt, but totally to interrupt, that type of shit like puts a huge speed bump on my day. Like it like not only becomes a conversation for like a later thing, for like a later conversation, but 100% like I'm so in the zone with like what I'm doing. Like I'm here to get this and that, and then I'm out. And I'm like, and I get no personal time anyways. So like when I get personal time, like my brain is adjusted for like, this is Ronnie time. You're like, you have 30 minutes between this time and that. That's why I love going out for my lunch. But like if someone fucking is trying to like, oh dude, like if you go through like the fucking drive-through line at Chick-fil-A and there's the people who are standing around, I go there so often people know me. So they're like, oh hey Ronnie, oh I really like your shirt today. Man, I love that anime or whatever. And I'm like, fuck God, just stop talking to me. I just need to fucking get my chicken and go.
Thanks, guy. Now I gotta drive 30 minutes out of my way to get to a new fucking Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
But like I only get a 30-minute lunch anyway, so if you're fucking eating 6 of my minutes, I'm like, fuck, you only get to eat for 10 minutes. Like, and then I gotta drive back. Fucking stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not saying that, like my time's more valuable than anyone else's or that like fuck other people. It's just like, you know, you focus in on like that special you time. That if someone like kind of tries to impede on that, like even if I play Call of Duty online, and then somebody I'm not like ready to play with joins my game, and then they're like, "Hey, what's up, Kazness?" That's one of my gamer tags, and they're like, "Dude, bro, back out and let me join so we can be in a party together." I'm like, sweet.
I was ready to hit the fucking start button, and you're just... It's going to be like 2 minutes extra until I find another game, and fuck you for that, dude.
That's what you're saying. That was a huge... huge
when those people stop you in a store and shit, like when people tell you things, they're expecting a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
Usually it's older people. Of course it
definitely.
Because they're very used to being like just social without having to just meet people online and stuff.
Yeah.
When they stop you and they tell you something and it's like, oh yeah, and you just give them that little with a little smile, and it's like, I can muster that, and I think I can make it look kind of genuine enough to get them to move, and I'll just be like, hey, man, well, I got to go get this thing, so I'll see you later. Something else that really I've highlighted that bugs the shit out of me. So I have a gas station by my house that I walk to all the time.
Yeah.
And there's homeless people there, like, I mean, maybe like 6 or 7 times people have been out there, like homeless people, and they'll be like, hey man, can you give me some money? And I'll be like, no, but I can get you something in there. And they're like, most of the time they're like, yeah, that's fine, cool. And I get them whatever they
get
want.
Too much sometimes?
No, it's not even that, dude.
Okay.
Like,
Sometimes
I don't
that.
care.
Okay.
Like, I've bought packs of cigarettes for them, even though I think that shit's probably going to kill them. But, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know, far be it from me to dictate your life. I'm just here to help out a little bit. But then, like, when I leave and I give them their stuff, and I'm like, all right, man, see you later. And they're like, where are you headed? I'll walk with you. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't want.
Bro, I'm already so uncomfortable.
Like, dude,
that's like, why there's a homeless guy by my job who sits on the corner at like this like little intersection. He's really, really sweet. He doesn't ask for anything. Literally has no sign. He just sits there.
Yeah.
I give that guy food because he doesn't ask for anything, and I like that he doesn't ask for anything. I'm just like, he's just chilling. I want to provide him with some like sustenance, you know. So I'll come by and I'll bring him a burger or something, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." I'm in my car. He can't follow me or anything, and there's no awkwardness really. I hand him the food. He's like, "God bless you," and I'm like, "No problem, man," and I'll drive away. That's it. I feel so fucking uncomfortable if someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, I need $4 for this train, and you're like, I have like $3. He's like, fuck, you got any change? I mean, no, I don't carry coins around. You go back to your car? I'm very far from my car right now. We can go back to your car. Are you gonna miss the train?
Yeah,
bro. Like, you came at me pretty hastily. Are you sure?
Like, there's an ATM right over there.
Yeah,
it's right inside. It's like,
what's
are you
fucked
fucking
up?
kidding me, dude?
What's fucked up is they know where the ATMs are, and they're like, "There's an ATM inside that gas station. You can get me some." I'm like, "Bro, I ain't using ATM gas stations. I'm gonna get my shit stolen." No. No, and I never come across that situation, but it is really.
Oh my god.
I work in retail. And so if someone comes up to me, I'm most definitely stuck with that person.
Yep.
So like what is annoying as fuck is that like my job has this like obsessed attitude with how we're supposed to approach customers. Yeah. So we're supposed to like fucking annoy the shit out of them until they like buy something or like they get a fucking credit card or whatever. So with me, they want you to like pursue the fuck out of a customer. So then you go talk to a customer a bunch and you walk up and you're like, hey, do you need anything? And they're like, yeah, you know, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. And you're like, cool, that's over here. You want to get like, this is a really good one. This one's like mediocre. Like, I don't trust these. They're not reliable or whatever. And then they end up getting a fucking phone call.
Yeah.
And then they answer the phone and they're still looking at the item. But it's like, how long do I wait before I walk away? Because, like, I think I've helped them enough, but then they did want my help.
Yeah.
Do I wait until, like, I feel so painfully uncomfortable that, like, I leave? Or do I'm like, he takes a phone call and I'm like, sweet, I'm out. And then I'm like, hey, but they don't look at me. They're fucking looking at the item talking on the phone. So, like, I'm waiting for them to make eye contact to be like, okay, are we good? Bye. Yeah. And then so I just wait? And I just wait until, like, okay, I'm going to give it like a minute. And then he's like, so how was Saturday, bro? Did you fuck her? And you're like, okay, I don't think this conversation is going to wrap up. And then I fucking, like, I fucking leave. Is that wrong? Because I'm uncomfortable at that point. Like, I would have left way before that. But, like, how long the fuck do I wait?
Dude, if you called your manager at that point and been like, hey, how long am I supposed to wait here?
Yeah.
Try to sell the dude on the phone some fucking shit, too. Yeah. Get him!
Tell his friend to come in and get an app.
Yeah. When I worked at the kiosk, actually...
kiosk.
Yeah, I'll just say the kiosk. But really, when I worked everywhere in retail, whenever I would help somebody out and they would take a phone call, I would just... like, I would turn into a mime at that moment. I'd be like, hey, I'd make the motion like, you're on the phone, I'm going to go back over there. Just come get me when you're ready.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I would just do like the quick hand motion and then I'd just peace out. And even if my boss had told me something, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. They said they have a phone call. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, luckily my managers are pretty cool. Like, if you call it out, you're like, hey, this guy's good. He's on the phone or whatever. They're usually pretty cool about it. 2-3 minutes might pass. And I'm like, hey, can you go check on the guy in the gray pants? And I'm like, I just fucking talked to them. What is the most frustrating shit ever is when I just talk to somebody, but one of my managers will see something and she'll go, hey, do you need help? And they're like, yeah, I just want to check out. And she's like, oh, I'll get you over here. And then she'll come up to you and lecture the fuck out of you and is like, I really need you to approach everybody because that person had been standing there for like 5 minutes and they were looking just to check out. You really need to pay attention to your department. I'm like, hello? Right before you walked up, I just spoke to that person and they said that, like, I helped them out. They weren't even looking for shit. And they were like, so you should have stayed with the customer and not have left them. I was like, so you want me to awkwardly fucking stand over somebody until they pick the item out? Isn't that like the law of confusion where like they feel like they're forced to make a fucking decision because I'm there? I'm impeding on their will.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, well, you're clearly slacking off. You were clearly talking to somebody. I saw you. I'm like, so with that same vigilance, did you not see that person wasn't there for 5 fucking minutes, like you said, because it's impossible for them to have been there for 5 fucking minutes?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and bro, like the fucking, like the dictatorship that is a management system is so bullshit.
I haven't had very much, like, I haven't had very many good experiences with, like, having a manager that will back you up. Like every single time, every time a customer will come in and they'll try to fuck you on something. Yeah. Like you'll start getting fucked by them. And the big problem is like when you call your manager over to have your fucking back on something, like this is supposed to be like something minuscule too. Like this is supposed to be like 20% off. It's like a $5 item. It's supposed to be 20% off. It says it's on the sign over there. It's like, well, no, it doesn't actually say that on the sign. You picked it up because the customer had moved it like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And you grabbed it before we could go over there and move it. And now you're trying to get it 20% off here. So that's not the way it works. Look, when I bring it up, we have a system where all the sales get calculated automatically.
Yeah.
If I bring it up and it doesn't say it's 20% off, it's not 20% off. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I'm going to need to speak to your manager. And I'm going to tell them how horrible of a job you're doing. And I'm like, all right, they're going to come up here and tell you the same thing, dude. Yeah, and then you call up the manager, and the manager comes up, and they're like, all right, just give them to it for 20% off. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
There's no way anyone should get away with shit like that. And luckily, my job isn't that bad. And they do have your back. But for, like, shit like that, not everything, but shit like that, where it's like, no, we're not doing that. You're fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
And you're like, I love that you could feel it out. You could feel out when they're coming. Like this guy came up the other day, walked up to our desk, and we're like, hey, how can I help you? And he was like, hey, this shit's acting up, man. There's some fucked up with this and that. You know, I'm fucking tired of this. It's been jacked up since day one. And I'm bringing it back because I can't tolerate it anymore. It's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. If it was jacked up from day one, you know we have an X amount of return policy, like this amount of days. Why didn't you bring it back? And he's like, well, because I was trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. And you're like, oh, okay, flip it around. Okay. So then he's like, well, can you do it or not? And we look at the receipt. It's like, no, it's a very strict X days that you're like not allowed to bring it back. And you just fucking knew that when he came up, he was about to do this shit where he goes, oh, fucking course. I'm never shopping here again. Yeah. I will never buy a single goddamn fucking thing from y'all again. And then he starts storming off. That happened. So today's Thursday. That happened yesterday. But then my supervisor, who's super cool, she like de-escalated the fuck out of that. And she was like, okay, let me see this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me look at your device. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you just turned off the data management. And he was like, oh, so I just turned something off. I fucked it up. She was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, And, like, he looked like a dipshit, and then like,
Yep.
she was like,
All the
so
wind out
she
of
felt
sails.
so proud of herself. She loves like squashing customers. It's so funny. And she was like, I just fucking told that guy this shit, and he just realized how big of a dumbass he looked. And I was like, yeah, it feels good.
I love that people think that when they say, "I'm never shopping here again," that anybody gives a where you shop, you stupid
mad.
piece of shit.
Because with the same logic, with a corporation who wants you to have X amount of credit card apps per day,
Yeah.
that also means there's a certain amount of people per day who are looking for a new credit card, which seems crazy that anyone, like if you live in a small community like I do, you would think this business has been here for this long. How the shit are more people getting credit cards? Yeah. But they do.
People
at the same time, bro. Don't make me think that like I'm fretting that you're not coming back, because clearly, if we're getting new credit card app customers, bro, you are old news already. It's like there's someone news coming tomorrow, today even, who's never been in here. And people say that they're like, I've never been in this store before. And I'm like, really? Well, take a look around, and then sure enough, they're the same fucking people who get a credit card app that I never saw coming, and I just pitch it. I'm like, yeah, you want this? And they're like, yeah, sure. And you're like, really? All right. You never been in this store before? Whatever you say, dude.
This is my third credit card here.
Yeah.
What? You want another one? Hell yeah.
Yeah, if only. Never.
I get so close at my jobs to getting fired. Nice.
I don't know if that fart showed up on the wave, but I hope it did.
Then you just moaned in the microphone. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I farted.
Some parts do fucking make you like make those eyes roll to the back of your head type shit. Like,
So I what was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, I push the line of getting fired.
I push my farts.
Yeah, I push the line just like you push out your farts on like how close I can get to being fired from like handling. So I have an extremely low breaking point. I hate it, but I do. And when people are being absolutely fucking ridiculous, I'll snap. Like there was
like your threshold for bullshit's really low.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I can't. Like, I want to be my own boss one day, so when people start coming up and going, like, giving me the bullshit, I can just, I can pull a Gordon Ramsay and be like, get the fuck up!
Yeah.
You fucking noodle!
That's kind of what that's what I feel like a comic book shop owner would be like.
Yeah.
They're usually, like, really calm, like, super chill dudes who have the shittiest customer service, but, like, they can do whatever they want. They could literally I've seen it, where they'll sit behind the counter, and I've seen a guy with a guitar, like electric guitar. It's like a Jackson, and he's sitting back there, and he's like, hey man, you need any help with anything? And you're like, no, I'm just looking for Spider-Man comics or something. And he's like, cool dude, let me know if you need something. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I could do that. What the hell? I fucking can't say the word fuck at work. Are you serious? Like,
yeah.
Do you see in this podcast, if we had a fucking timer, how many times have I said the F word? Probably like 26 times. I've probably not said the F word 26 times at work for the entire 8-hour day.
Dude.
Yeah, I want to be my own boss. It's just like a cuss like Gordon Ramsay can.
I almost got fired from the kiosk because a lady came in saying her phone wouldn't charge, and she was like, I've been here and got 3 phones, and none of these phones charge at all. And I was like,
first of all, you're buying phones from IKEA.
Well, they were like Samsungs and stuff. I sold like the quote unquote high end stuff. I'm not really a big fan of Samsung or Apple or anything.
No, you have a cooler phone, but yeah.
But
fucking let me tell you some shit about that too.
But I was like, okay, yeah, we can do the return for you. That's fine. I just want to see, because I'm curious. I like to troubleshoot. Maybe I can fix your problem.
Yeah.
And maybe you won't have to do the whole return and everything. She was like, no, I want to do the return. I'm the customer. The customer's always right. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, are you kidding me?
This ain't Subway, bro. The customer's not always right. That shit is above the door.
Right.
Above the door in the kitchen at Subway. That's what it says. It says customer's always right.
Listen to this, though. I plugged in her charger that she brought back, and like I put it in the phone, and it didn't start charging, and then I was like, oh, and then just pushed it a little bit harder and just popped into place, and I was like, oh, you just weren't pushing it in all the way, and she was like, I want a new phone. Give me your manager.
Oh my God.
It's not my fault that the phone's not charging, and you can't tell me it is. And I was like, look, it was your fucking fault, dude. It was your fucking fault. You weren't pushing in hard enough. This happened 3 times, and you can't put enough effort into, like, it's as much effort as pushing a fucking fork into a meatball, you. Sorry, I got a little,
okay.
I got a little carried away there.
Oh God!
But people like that, I can't do it with
force to put a fork in a meatball. Oh my God!
I nope.
Did you call her dude? Like,
yeah, I called her dude.
I feel like every time I call somebody dude, if I call somebody dude at work, I feel like I'm already pressing the line. Like I know I already look like a fucking skater kid, but let alone like I fucking call him dude.
I didn't call her an artart though. That was me right now getting carried away in the moment of reliving that memory.
Oh man,
I wanted to so bad.
So
I think I did call her stupid though.
Oh, did you say the meatball thing too? I fucking hope that's good.
Yeah.
My mouth hurts from smiling.
But shit. I also worked at I did a lot of tech support. I worked at tech support for 2 different companies, taking phone calls. One was for an internet company, and I was level 2 support. I would help them fix all their stuff, and it was usually like pretty easy. I would just, whenever they would call, I would be like, okay, did the person on tier 1 have you do just unplug the box for 30 seconds and plug it back in? No? Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And that would fix 98% of them. Yeah. It was so. If anybody here, if this ever gets more than like 100 viewers, please, before you do anything, just unplug it for a little bit and plug it back in.
Yeah, that usually fixes it.
Before calling
even
support.
Like if you look at Xbox support, there's a problem that Call of Duty has that has you, it like kind of kicks you from a game. Like you'll be like circling, trying to get into a game, and then it'll pop. You might get into a game, but it'll pop you out, and it'll say there's like some kind of data thing that's like downloaded on your fucking Xbox that's like not letting you in. And the solution is literally like unplugging your fucking Xbox for 30 seconds and plugging it back in.
The power cycle, man.
And because it clears the cache.
Mm-hmm.
So it clears your cache, and that's what fixes that, which is seems strange, but that's literally what does it.
Because all of your devices hold on, like devices nowadays all hold on to like a small electrical charge to save some data in there, so it doesn't have to like take as long to start up every single time.
Yeah.
So if you leave it unplugged for a little bit, it'll run out of juice. It's for like when you have like a blackout that lasts like 5 seconds, so you don't have to restart from ground zero, level 1 every single time. You know what I mean? But I would get people like this. Like this was some of my day, every single day, is I would get a call from somebody, and this is a real one. This guy was just trying to sign into his Wi-Fi. He didn't know what his password was, and I was like, "Did you change it since you got it?" No. All right. Then if you look at the sticker on the bottom or the back or whatever it is, all you have to do is like read them off to me, like what the categories are, like right before the colon every time. And it was like username and password, and it was like, great. All right, so you find that username, that's actually, well, not username, SSID. That's your Wi-Fi name, and the password is where it says password. And he was like, all right, great. And I was like, just make sure you capitalize everything that needs to be capitalized, like just verbatim as it is on the back. He was like typing it in for a little bit, and he was like, do I have to capitalize the numbers too? And I was
like, no.
I sat there for
my dude.
I sat there for like 2 minutes, like mouth open, like, oh, I don't even know how to respond to this.
Tell me what a capitalized number is, dude.
Yeah. That was like one of the most memorable ones for me. Is like I can only imagine. I play this game with my fiance. Is I'll say some really stupid shit.
Am I not? I'm pretty positive.
Get her to believe.
I'm pretty positive someone at my old job, this this one girl that, if anyone at Arlington knows who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. That chick in customer service, goddamn, who was like brainless, bro. And I'm almost positive she said the exact same shit to Stephanie, and Stephanie was like, "Did you just fucking no bullshit me right now? Like, did you just like capitalize a fucking number?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Man, I don't remember what that girl's name was, but oof.
Yeah,
She was something.
That kind of, I have a ton of stories from back then. None of them come into the top of my head right now, which is kind of weird. But you were telling me you wanted to talk to me about something having to do with the education system.
Bro, I just wanted to complain.
Yeah, dude, complain, man. Do it. I have my own problems with the education system.
Fucking, I wanted to vent a little bit about the inefficiency of COVID, of the educational year that is happening during COVID. It's just the biggest piece of shit. It's a terrible, awful, gargantuan elephant shit that is happening right now. So first of all, among the worst things, this is the worst. You're paying the exact same amount for tuition as you would be if you could go into class.
And you're just doing online
and
classes.
I'm doing 98% of it online. I have to go to a printmaking class, which is a shitty class by itself. But I have to go into that class with my teacher, who I won't tell you who it is. And she's really, really scatterbrained, and it's going across the grading is going across Microsoft Teams, and which is not like an educational like submission website.
Yep, I've used it.
It's literally there to talk in groups.
I used that for one of my old jobs when I worked for Apple support.
To like talk to like your customers?
No, not to talk to my customers, to talk with my teams.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were separated into groups.
So there, she does groups, but she has you submit the fucking answers to certain questions in groups that she makes on Teams, and then also has some parts of the assignment on Canvas, but not the whole thing. She might have. Like, the other day, I complained through an email. I sent her a second email. Then I sent her a third email. Then I talked to her in person about it. And I said, you have, for Project 1, we have a criteria that you have, that we have to meet for Project 1. We have, like, you have to take a picture of your print and submit it. Mm-hmm. But then also, that same thing, you have to also write like a little summary for the project 1. But the summary had a like regimen that you had to follow. Mm-hmm. And it said in the summary, which was both on Canvas and on Teams, it said in all caps, like, the link is here, and there was no fucking link.
There was no hypertext.
No, and there's no. So I'm like fucking all over the place, bro. I'm like, okay, so maybe it's on Canvas. I look at Canvas. I go to fucking Project 1. It says Project 1 full assignment and rubric, and I was like, great. It's not there. And I was like, okay, I'm scrolling all over the place, fucking looking for little hyperlinks. I'm reading like every little fucking detail, and I was like, nothing. Okay, I go to modules. Okay, assignment 1. Okay, look at there. Okay, it just says this is where, it shows you like a slideshow to get you excited about Project 1. I was like, great, nothing. Assignments. Go back to assignments. Okay, so I could submit it here, but there's no actual like fucking link for the rubric, but she demands the rubric. Okay, so I go to Teams, and I was like, okay, I know her ass fucking puts shit in Teams for no reason. Okay, I look at Teams, Project 1, submission, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Fucking bubkiss. So after 3 emails, I talked to her in person, and I go, hey, I sent you 3 goddamn fucking emails. I didn't say that, but I said 3 emails. Where is the rubric that we're supposed to follow for the assignment 1 summary. And she goes, oh, it's just right here. Oh, wait, it's not there. Oh, well, hold on. It should be right here. Oh, wait. Oh, it's not there. Oh, well, maybe it's in Teams. What the fuck? Maybe. Why is it maybe? Why is it maybe? It's not, shouldn't be maybe fucking anything, bro. You know why Canvas exists? Because it's easy. You fucking go to assignments, assignment 1. It details what assignment 1 is. And then at the bottom, there's a submission. Submit that shit. Boom. Why did you have to fucking spread out? She eventually found it. It took her several minutes, and she goes, oh, I put it right here. And it's the most hidden bullshit ever. Like, it was fucking embedded in this thing that you had to, like, open up in another window and then open up with, like, a down arrow. And she's like, oh, it's right here. And I was like, you see how hard it was for you to find that, and you're the teacher? Can you just copy that link and put that in the assignment box that you should have done in the first place? And she was like, and I really talked to her like that because I'm fucking annoyed as shit because she's so scatterbrained. And I'm like, and she's like, yo, yeah, I could do that. And I'm like, great. And she was like, and she goes, you know, it's just really difficult because I don't know where to put assignments. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know where to put assignments? In the assignments block in Canvas. Why would you submit it to Teams? The only reason why we use Teams is to talk to each other. That's it. There is no reason it should be for anything else. Man, I was fucking pissed because, and then she's like, oh, fucking shit, dude. And then she goes, this one teacher has killed me this semester. And then this one teacher, the same teacher, is like, oh, I have, I started getting zeros on my assignments. And I was like, what the fuck? So it was like week 2, I got a 30 in the class. Week 3, I got a 45. And I was like, what? Why? And I'm doing all my shit. And then I'm like going to class every day. I'm submitting my work. I'm like excelling, you know, I'm fucking doing it well. I'm doing all the assignments. I'm submitting them. Oh, but guess fucking what? Because I don't know where to put assignments, bro, I also don't know where the assignments are that I'm supposed to be grading. So she goes, oh, I don't know where they are. Could you guys all resubmit them to my email? And I'm like, now we're sending it to a third party now? What happened to the fucking Canvas? And then not Teams anymore. You want it on fucking
good
in
Let's
email.
Just not use fucking Canvas anymore if you can't figure it the fuck out.
Yes. So I got zeros on everything. And then she goes, oh, well, don't worry about it because right now there's almost no grades. So when you do get a 0, it looks worse. And I was like, that's not the issue. The issue is the 0. Why do I have a 0 on something I've done? And she was like, well, it was due last week, but I haven't graded it. And I'm like, well, do you hear how every time you react to something, it's something else? So it's like, grade the fucking stuff so we know if we actually got zeros on shit. Did I miss something? And then, you know, I fucking hadn't missed anything. And it was like, I looked through everything and you can see where I've submitted it. But okay, so when you go to like Teams, it's like, okay, so she wants it in group 1, project 1, like, you know, whatever submissions. So it'd be like a video and then it says reply to this video as a response for the homework. And then you do, but when it does, it collapses and it like, okay, so check this shit out. This is really funny. So it like collapses, but it like kind of like it like starts a new conversation. And then she goes, well, I get notifications for the conversation, but because I've had y'all do that a few times, every new group conversation that happens, it resets the priority. So I'm getting alerts for different groups, so I forget to look at the other ones. And I was like, Whose fault is that? Submit it to Canvas, and it will be all in one place. Why is that so hard?
How old is this teacher?
She's like 35, maybe.
So the only thing I can see this coming to is like, do you guys ever do like big like chat rooms?
Yes, that's what fucking Teams is for, dude.
Like voice chat.
Yeah, that's what Teams is for.
Okay.
It's so you'll talk on there like every Tuesday, Thursday.
The only thing I can see this coming to, like offering any explanation, is like you're talking to her, and you just hear like the bong rip up, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, I forgot I was a teacher.
I forgot I was on the mic. I don't think a stoner could fuck this up that bad. And look, I used to be a stoner too, bro. My GPA dropped from a 3.8 to a 1.9. Like, if you fucking go too ham in the paint, bro, it fucks you up. And like your priorities change. All I wanted to do was play Dark Souls and Dragon's Dogma for a whole summer. Like, I fucking blew it. So, I don't, school during, but like that's what I did during the summer. Yeah. During the fucking fall and spring, I fucked up school pretty badly. I had to reevaluate how often I was going to smoke. So, I don't know, man. I don't know why she's so scatterbrained, but it is brutal to get through this class because I'm so frustrated all the time. Okay, that comes full circle. Why the fuck am I paying full tuition if that's what I have to deal with online?
Yeah, that's her job. This is her job.
It's so infuriating.
This is all you have to do is tell us what to do, and then tell us how good we fucking did it. That's all. You don't even have to do the fucking work.
Dude, and I've been thinking for so long. I talked to a couple of people about it, and everyone says, like, you got to submit something to, like, the Board of Education or something. I'm like, is that what it comes to? Is that what it comes to?
Like, she either starts paying attention like a normal person, or she gets
that
fucking
and the
fired.
Whole tuition thing. It's like, why are we paying so much for tuition? Dude, I'm paying like a chunk. I'm not going to tell you how much. I'm paying a chunk. And today I made another payment on tuition. I'm paying a chunk out of pocket, no FAFSA, and I'm paying full tuition for the most bullshit service online. It's not great, and it's really hard to pay attention to because, like, not only is it even more difficult to, like, not more difficult than all that bullshit, but like when your teacher is talking to you, it's tough in class to pay attention, stay awake, monitor, whatever. But at home, bro, I could literally go play Call of Duty and fucking, and because I know I can. Dude, during class, sometimes I'll go to fucking Chick-fil-A and I'll go grab a fucking breakfast, come back, bring Kaylee breakfast, and I'm like, yo, I got you breakfast. The whole time I was on call. Really hard to retain that information when you're like that. And that's not that's not my printmaking class, because the printmaking class you have to go into class for on one day, and then the other day you literally don't do shit that day. You just work on your prints if you want to.
Yeah.
So it's not even like an excuse for why that class is so infuriating.
Yeah.
It's there's other classes that I have where you're just listening. And so it's like really, like today I was multitasking the fuck out of that class. I had my dyslexia training that I had to take for that class to teach on the right hand of the screen, and on the left hand of the screen I was doing a virtual tour for a museum in that class. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, bro. And I'm fucking doing that dyslexia training that took 3.5 hours because I gotta take those to teach and shit. So like, so infuriating. So infuriating.
I was thinking about going actually starting up college at some point soon, just to get a degree, or just to be in school. Like, of course, if I started it, I'd want to finish it. But like the amount of companies that will snatch up people who are in school for computer sciences and shit, like, god damn, they're willing to like fully deck you out with like a whole ass like adult job, like, just for you being in school for it. It's insane.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I'd love to do that shit. But, like, man, I after I dropped out of high school and I was on my way to get my GED in night school, So I was going to fast track it when I was like 16, 17. I was like, I'm done. I've too many credits behind. I've slept through too many classes. I know I can chop all this shit out. We can get it done real easy. And then stuff happened. I had to move to Florida. Couldn't continue doing the couldn't continue doing the night schooling. And had to get my GED when I turned 18. After that, I was so hesitant to start college that I just never did, even though I probably could have at some point.
Yeah, I took a pretty big break.
And it was I think it was mostly because of my experience in high school, kind of shaping me in a way that I was like, I don't want to go back to school. I think in high school, and maybe high school at the earliest, because that's when you can really like start delving into some really obscure concepts and stuff. And that's like the time you should probably be questioning yourself and
in high school.
Yeah, and figuring
Yeah,
shit
definitely.
out.
I feel like my biggest changes were like
yeah,
right at high school.
Middle school, you're it's too fresh. You're kicking your you're kicking your friends in the shins and shit, and like that's
sure.
like that's the extent of like your mental capacity at that point. But when you get into high school and things start like shaping up and you're getting closer to like, all right, I'm gonna have to go fucking live like an adult at some point. I think like
yeah, dude.
We need classes that can teach kids how to do their fucking taxes. We need classes. I think personally, like a psychology 101 class.
Yeah,
like
I didn't get that. I did
to
not get that until I was in college, first year of college.
That would be
and it was
great.
Psych 101.
That would be great to help kids figure out their own shit, like to like set them on a better path. Like psychology 101 and even philosophy like would be great, because then it's like introspection,
question life,
and here's how your intuition can fool you. You shouldn't always just listen to your intuition, because there are ways like I can't even think of any right now, but I have a GED, guys. There are ways that you can fool yourself and like get yourself into habits that are not helpful to you. That if you started thinking about your mental processes during the day, and like when you make a choice, you're like, why am I making this choice? Probably because I'm just like, following my preferences because it would be more comfortable. But even though it makes me feel a little like it would be a little more comfortable in the short term, in the long term, it would probably be more beneficial. I'd be even more comfortable and more stable. And you don't think about that stuff that often.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think that shit would be great for the education system.
I think so. The one big thing that really bothered me. So I've changed my major from when I first got out of high school. I was in graphic design. So I did graphic design. I did yearbook for 4 years in high school. I fucking loved that class, and I beat the shit out of graphic design. So I was always doing Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, and I was going ham. I totally understood all that stuff. Got out, went into college, hated it because there's no free will. So your creative vision doesn't mean shit because you're controlled by a corporation or an individual. And then I did commissions, and that's 100% true. I did a commission last year, and that's 100% fucking true. Yep. They ended up just fucking going one way with it, and they're like, oh, I think my idea is cooler. And you're like, great, fucking just download a font then, I guess. And what did you pay me for? And it's just more infuriating. I wish they didn't pay me at all, and they would have just done it themselves because I wasted my time. Yep. So anyways, I stopped that. And I went to philosophy. A big factor in what bothered the shit out of me wasn't like my own inadequacy. It was that when you are doing a philosophy degree, you cannot do philosophy below a master grade level. You have to go masters and then go above and go for your doctorate. There's nothing before that. So you can only teach like a history or social studies with that same degree. Mm-hmm. You're not teaching philosophy. It's not taught in high schools, so you can't use it. That is infuriating. Yeah. Where you're like, well, I was a really smart cookie back in high school, and I was learning a lot, but I had to learn everything from experience or from personal research. Why the fuck don't we get that? Like, why don't we get a philosophy or a psychology lesson in high school? Why? You don't think that we're creative enough thinkers? Do you think we're too childlike? Are we like not? Do they think we need to be like little more? What's the word? I don't want to say babied, but we're kind of babied still. Yeah. Why was I able to? One, I never learned taxes. I agree with you for sure. Psychology or philosophy, I had to learn all that stuff in college, and taxes is still like a mystery, and stocks is still a fucking mystery. So, but in high school, you are given a free block in your senior year, which should have been used for like, okay, you're getting out into the world, taxes, fucking stocks. Let's learn like the fucking bare bones stuff so we can get you through. Instead of calling it economics, because I took an economics course. That is not what happened in that course. It was more of like a history of economics more than anything else. I was like, great. Like, so how though? How? Philosophy could have replaced my astronomy class.
Astrology.
No, not astrology. Like astronomy class.
All right, guys, raise your hand if you're a Pisces.
Me. Such a Pisces.
All right, now you're get out of my class. 'Cause your moon cycle is just
it's not synced up with mine. Yeah, fucking ridiculous. So I mean, I totally believe in archetypes. The fucking degree in which that people take astrology is really frustrating. But I took astronomy. I literally remember making a drawing like an alien character for like what my planet would potentially have. I'm in 12th grade. I was having sex in 12th grade. Why was I learning that instead of focusing on like my future mental health, my like what was like my mental capacity? I would have been questioning the shit that was being told to me by my parents and stuff back then. And then when I got into college, I fell in love with philosophy, bro. I fucking love philosophy. And I was learning, dude, when I took my logic class, I learned that debates are all bullshit. Like, political debates are all bullshit. Mm-hmm. They're just, like, stonewalling each other. They got fallacies out the fucking door.
Yep,
like, everything is fallacies. It's so frustrating to listen to somebody. And we did an assignment where we listened to the debate because it was, like, during some... I was like right when Trump was being elected. And so we were like, okay, so check out the debates. This is an amazing study about fallacies. And it's just, we just made lists of like all the ones that they commit. And it was all of them. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So I would have been able to point out how people talk to you and how they're like, they have this flaw in their logic. And you'd be able to pick it out so you could like better understand it and then like maneuver it. Mm-hmm. And then I took an ethics class which taught you so much about like how you're to question, like the best, like a great question is like, when does ethics begin? And then it begins at a choice. So it's like a crossroads between like a left and a right. It's like, do I make this decision or this decision? And oftentimes that's where like ethics begins, is at like that crossroads. That class had you questioning so much shit, like abortion and slavery and like what's the rights and wrongs. Like, let's ask some questions. And the teacher never gave his biased opinion. He was like, yo, so what do you think of this? And then he would ask a follow-up question like, well, why do you think that? Because of this and that. I also took an amazing
epistemology and shit.
Yeah an amazing teacher. I forget his name. He had a girly name. Like his name was Jamie, I think. So it was like
one of those unisex ones.
Yeah, for sure. Female. So not girly, but it was like a unisex name. He was my world religions teacher. My professor for world religions was one of my favorite professors with one of my most influential classes ever. But you had to go to college for those really influential classes. I had to choose to do that, which seems a little crazy to me because if you're going to force school on somebody, why do I have to take 19 fucking math classes when I never need it? When meanwhile, I could be taking a world religions class to see that everybody ripped everybody else off and that like no idea is really original when coming to religion, and that like literally all of it comes out of fucking a study of like the stars, that like everyone is linked because everyone was looking at the fucking stars, and like we're just going back, and you look back at like the natives And then you're like, whoa, they fucking were like super connected to the earth, blah, blah, blah. Everything is like elemental and they're like really connected. Okay, so then you look after that and you're like, okay, so let's look at the Sumers, okay? And then you look at the fucking, the Hindus, and you look at the Chinese, and you look at, okay, well, let's take a look at the Egyptians. And like, dude, my teacher fucking did an amazing job at like chronicling religion. And he's like, now let's look at Christianity. And you're like, oh my God, they ripped off everything. Yep. This is just everything compiled into one. This is the most unoriginal shit ever. And you're like, yes. And my teacher just fucking dropped microphone type shit. Is like, now decide what you want to do with your life. Because now you know religion is like all started from this point. This is the most, like, if you want to talk about the old religion, like Wiccanism, fucking, you know, paganism is like the bare bones. Like, well, let's go way back, bro. Like, these people were, you know, like the natives, like Native Americans. Those are like the fucking bare bones people. Like, they believe that's like the heart and soul of religion. And then it expands and expands and expands into what it is now, where like Christianity, Islam is like all like the letterheads of religion right now, and yet it was ripped off from everybody else.
Yeah.
And he like gives you like, man, he gave me like the full on connection. And I just feel like I wish I would have had that sooner. Like, I'm a much more intelligent person for knowing what I know now because of those classes. And those classes were done by my choice. Yep. How many other people don't get those classes because they don't choose to do philosophy, which seems boring as shit to people for some reason. But the class is the study of, like, it's the most necessary shit I feel like there is.
You know what? Some of the like biggest bullshit that I think happens is everybody had fucking English class where you were taught motherfucking spelling, but everybody gets mad at me for correcting them on their spelling. Yeah, motherfucker, right? This has been happening since fucking grade school, okay? Like, don't get mad at me that you can't absorb this information, all right?
Why did we have parallels? Why did we have English class and we had literature class?
I think English class was more like the syntax of the language. Like, this is how you structure things. And the reading or literature class was more like the semantics. Like, this is how it's used and this is how you understand it, like in a context.
Could we not have combined those classes?
Maybe, but people are really stupid. So I don't know if having them both together would have worked that well. Or I think most people are really stupid. Or sorry, I think most people were not taught in a way conducive to their understanding of the world. I think everybody was taught in a cookie cutter way, and it's really hard for people to step out of people trying to give them information and try to contextualize it and learn it themselves to exceed.
Yeah, it really seems like it's like a really difficult thing to like break that mold. Like, it seems like we've just been doing something for so long that there's like no other fucking way to do it.
Yeah. Like with I remember in school taking I think there were like Myers-Briggs-esque tests and stuff, but they never fucking did anything with them ever.
I remember that. I remember having to sit down and do some shit like that.
We're gonna learn what kind of learners you are.
Oh my god!
Oh, you're a visual learner.
Oh a fucking textbook, god, bro! Talk about a fucking mindfuck. That's 100% true. We did get those, and they never did anything with that. There was nothing came out of that. I fully remember taking those. Oh man, and they made it like a fucking weekend type thing. You know, it was like 3 days of like, hey, we're gonna do personality tests, we're gonna do how you learn and stuff. Who does that go to? The fucking aliens? Why didn't we get like, we never got taught any differently. They get surveys and they're like, great, that's nice to know. Now get back to work. Nothing changed in the school system. They found out that I'm way more of a visual learner, and like I'm like a hands-on learner too.
Yeah.
I need to fucking see it happen,
So-
and I need to feel it happen.
So here's like 17 pages on the subject. Go ahead and read it all. There's no pictures, by the way.
yeah. Here's your science book that was $100, and also it's like, you know, there's like one picture, and it's just of the universe at the beginning. So
All black.
yeah, which is like all black basically.
We pointed the camera somewhere and took a picture, and it happened to be all black. Sorry,
It's just
guys.
the corner of the room. Yeah,
It was the only one we got.
yeah. That is
Yeah.
that is crazy. I had not thought about that in so long. I took that. What was that, like a 5th grade or something like that?
Yeah. I remember taking them in 5th and 6th grade. But I think so.
I guess
I don't
their
know.
fear is that they can't individualize too much because then you get personal. And they're like, well, it's not fair because Jimmy gets this and you get that. So
Like,
you
yeah,
should have
well,
taken
Jimmy
your
needs
test
that,
differently.
and I don't.
Yeah, bro. Like if you're trying to teach me something, like, you know, when you're like, okay, so go to your phone, open up your phone, go to settings, go down to display and brightness. On display and brightness, you can also go into like advanced settings. When you go into advanced settings, you can go to change color output, and you can change it to only warm colors.
Yeah.
How much easier would that have been if you would have shown me that fucking shit? Put that on screen. Oh, and also give me a phone to do that on too. Like,
Yeah.
how much easier would that have been? So, I mean, that's a pretty exaggerative thing, but like, yes, of course, if you're going to have me do like a survey thing, shouldn't that survey apply?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have grievances with people who lean really heavily on astrology, like we were talking earlier, and the Myers-Briggs stuff. So
Oh, yeah, like I'm an IMDb.
yeah,
yeah. You got that?
but like people would take that stuff, the Myers-Briggs stuff was just designed as a way to like inform you on how you interact with information and learn things, like your best way of learning. And people will take that and be like, I'm introverted, so I like to stay home and be by myself all the time. That's why I'm not going to go out with you guys tonight. But you should talk to my friend Shelly. She's an extrovert. She loves parties. It's like, bitch, you're like, you took a Myers-Briggs. That's not how it works. It just means like it's easier for you to bounce ideas off somebody else than it is for you to just sit there alone with it.
When you put a title to something, it ingrains you as an identity, which is what's
People cling to those.
George
so hard.
Carlin says symbols are for the symbol-minded. And it's like, yeah, you've added like a title to create your identity.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous thing to do. Because
Yeah.
it like ingrains you, like puts your feet in that cement, and you're stuck.
Yep.
But I do like taking the Myers-Briggs every once in a while to kind of see who
Yeah.
my anime characters are that I'm supposed to be. And then I'm like, oh, I'm Barack Obama. He's not an anime character. He should have an anime. But
My grievances with astrology. I'm making sure I'm not saying astronomy.
yeah.
So
It's the radical nature in which people address astrology.
Horoscopes and stuff.
It's
dude.
really frustrating scrolling through like a Facebook or whatever, and someone is like, will post an astrology thing, and you're like, for some reason I thought I saw something. But you'll see someone who's like, it'll be a list. What's annoying? It's a list, and it's like 4 horoscopes, and it's like how someone handles Halloween season, and it's like, you know, the Libra is like, fuck this. And it's like Scorpio is like, yes, I love the darkness. Cancer is like, oh, I'm so sad that it's cold outside. It's like, stop grouping people. It's it's like it becomes like a group thing where it's like you've titled someone else. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, bro, if that's you, that's you. But when I hear Cancer's astrology, you know, like the sign, I'm like, that's not me at all. Yeah. Like it says that I'm like sensitive and I have like a lot of feelings. I'm like, no shit, we all do. We all have that. It's just like how resistant we are to our own feelings. I'm just really like in tune with my own shit. I'm not crying all day though. I fucking don't cry. Like, you know how hard it is to cry now? I'm fucking 26 years old, bro. Something fucked up has to happen. I've seen too much shit, bro. I gotta have like a family member die in front of me. My dog died, and I held my dying dog in my hands. She was heavy. Like the weight of a dead dog. Do you know how hard I cried? That was like one of the last times I cried my fucking eyes out. Like that was like 3 or 4 years. No, it was 4 years ago because that was before Toadies. That was like 4 years ago. Yeah, I cried my eyes out. That was like the last time, bro.
When my cat died, my Booger, when he died, that was the last time I like really let it all out.
Yeah.
But he was the first cat that me and Kaylee had adopted together, and that's the first one I had to deal with like as an adult.
Yeah.
The hamster was easier because hamsters have such a little lifespan.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to me crying over animals and stuff, it's like, how much responsibility did I have in the death of this thing?
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, we were 2 days from taking him to the vet because we had a vet appointment, and he passed away like right then. And it was just like, if I like 2 days sooner, if I would have called, damn it, fuck me.
But, I see.
Yeah, back to the astrology thing. One issue I have with it is when they start giving traits, like astrological traits, like your sign means this, you're this person and you're this person, and some of them are so vague that they just apply to all of them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course, like, you like being happy. What do you do? But that's not even a trait of somebody. That's just a part of being a human, is you don't want to be unhappy like until you die. And something else that's frustrating to me is
they're like fortune cookies.
Yeah. And I'm
vague as fuck.
I'm in Aries. Mm-hmm. And it's so frustrating because I match up to everything having to be like, people will guess that I'm an Aries when they meet me, and I'm just like, fuck you and fuck your horoscope and your fucking astrology, and get the fuck out of my face. You're right. You're right.
Oh my god, course. You're such an Aries.
So, yeah, you're correct, but go away. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my birthday.
The only one I've seen that's like somewhat consistent is like the Scorpio one, I guess. My wife is a Scorpio, and then like I had friends that were Scorpios, and they like kinda dealt with shit the same way, but I always hear Scorpios are like huge cunts, and I'm like, my wife is fucking amazing. She never does anything selfish. Sometimes, but like, she doesn't hurt anybody through her own selfishness. Like everyone's a little selfish. I want things like, I could save up more money, and then I could like, I could donate it, or I fucking could put it in my savings, but instead I eat Chick-fil-A. It's like, that's kind of selfish. I could have just meal prepped or whatever. Maybe
it would be a pedantic way to argue it, but I think I kind of view the world through like an egoist lens, where I think everybody's out for their own self-interest. Even when they seem to be doing selfless acts, it's for selfish reasons, not in a harmful way, but
I get what you mean. Yeah, because even if you were like, consider,
I give $1 million to charity, it's like, because you want to feel good that you did that.
Or what I would think, kind of like a bare bones thing, is like, kind of my own philosophy, is because I'm gonna damn myself for this, but like in the law of one, if there's polarizing decisions, there's positive and negative. According to the law of one, it kind of discusses that like if you're 51% positive, you graduate. If you're 99% negative, you graduate negative. So you graduate positive, you graduate negative. If you are doing positive things, you are doing them because you want to do something positive. Like, do you want to do it out of the nature of your own heart, or do you want to do it because you want to polarize positively? Because that's like the desire you see in the end. That's what you want for yourself. You want a positive ending,
When you say polarize positively, what do you mean?
Like what would you consider to be like a good action? Typically is something that is polarizing something positively. Not that there is a good or an evil or a good and a bad.
Like morally, or
yeah. So consider like that the thing I said about the guy who sits outside Best Buy, and like like I like that he doesn't ask for food. I like that I just give him food. And I'm not gonna like, but two things happen. One, I'll give him food. I'll like pass him by. I'm like, cool, he's out here. I'll go to like, fucking. I went to like Jack in the Box and I got like an extra meal for him, and then I drove back and I dropped the food off to him and I like went inside. So 2 things happened. One, I donated food to a guy who appreciated it. That was a positive thing to do. Because he appreciated it. It was something he needed. He's homeless, so he like needs food. You provide for something that somebody needed. 2, I didn't go around and tell like the whole fucking universe that like I did it that day. Like I didn't go inside my job and be like, yo, bro, I just fucking totally gave this shit to this guy. Man, I felt so fucking good. So I didn't do either of those things. So I think that would be like considered a positive action, which would polarize. So like, think of it like a tick mark on like on a little pendulum, so it slightly moves closer towards positive. So I think if your idea of trying to graduate would be doing something positive all the time or doing something negative all the time, your actions are somewhat selfish because you do have your own self-interest in mind and you're doing it for that reason. The ultimate way to avoid that would be to relinquish that self-preservation and do it just because you want to, for no other reasons other than wanting to do good for the sake of goodness, not for the sake of the self, which is true positive. And that would be a tough thing. I think I tend not to think about the end. I just think about just doing things, because now it's like a pattern thing. It's like most people default to good. According to Malcolm Gladwell, we default to truth, which is a good thing. And we often believe people by default because we have an inherent like want for goodness. So like at the same time, it becomes like a subconscious action. Like if you're a good person, generally, you are generally doing good things, which is kind of why the percentage is 51. Meanwhile, to do something like inherently negative constantly, it would be really difficult. And even to go to like 99 is pretty difficult for a person. You'd have to be like Genghis Khan or fucking Hitler to do something consistently negative constantly.
When you say truth, what do you mean?
Did I say truth?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said truth, I think is, you said everybody wants the truth and the truth is good.
Malcolm Gladwell's concept. So it's in his book, Talking to Strangers. It's literally a book about why do we lie to people. Mm-hmm. It's a book about lying and stuff. So it's more of a book about why, like how we have conversations with each other. Kaylee just texted me that she's sleepy. So we're gonna end it real soon. So we'll try to wrap up.
I saw that you just texted her like "fuck off."
Yeah, no way. So I said, okay, well, we're ending soon. So his book, Talking to Strangers, excellent book, came out last year, is a book about like why is communication between two people really, really difficult. Because even though we're trying, like I just said something to you, but you like had a distortion between the two of us, right? Mm-hmm. Either we don't have our same level of concepts to be like equivalent, or we have like a history that's like blocking us. I might have subconscious racism. You may not, because you didn't grow up. You grew up in like a really like friendly household or whatever to like race and stuff. So we have like these differences.
Yeah,
the
different
concept,
perspectives on
right. So
stuff.
The concept of defaulting to truth is that you believe someone is telling the truth more often, and you don't default to lie. So defaulting to truth is like, hey, I went to Walmart earlier today. I grabbed like a soda, and I got more bread. Do you refute any of that? Like, why would you? Why would I lie about such a simple thing? You default to truth. To you, you think like, oh yeah, I mean he totally fucking did that, because why would he say anything else? And there's something called like the threshold of truth. So it's like, well, when does that when do you stop defaulting to truth and you finally break that threshold and you're like, this guy's fucking with me. So like I tell you like, oh yeah, I went to Walmart, I got bread and I got water. Now you won't believe this, bro, but I found a wallet on the ground and I gave like the wallet back to the guy. I found him in the parking lot and he gave me $20 out of there. And then he told me, he like gave me his phone number and he said he was going to totally let me hook up with his wife who was in the wallet, and he said that he's in an open relationship and he was going to let me like fuck his wife. And then so later on, like in the day, a couple hours later, his wife texted me and told me that she's like so ready to hook up and that I'm supposed to go over there. She's also into Yu-Gi-Oh! Can you believe that? So I brought my deck over there. So okay, so when do you stop hearing this? When does this story start seeming like bullshit to you? That is the threshold. And so you go from defaulting to truth to defaulting to like changing your default to like that threshold begins. When you, over time, that threshold moves per person. So like there's a guy I grew up with, Logan Chappa. Everything he fucking told me ever tended to be a lie. Mm-hmm. So he would tell you a little bit of the truth, like, oh, I learned this song today. It's like, okay, great. But then he would go on to tell you that he's Chris Angel's cousin and that they're related and that his mom, which was always the default for where he was going to start lying from because no one knew his mom and no one had any context to who she was. So she was like the wild card. And he was like, yeah, I met Mason Musso from Metro Station last week and we fucking hung out. He's super tight. We're supposed to hang out this weekend. Oh, you got his number? Yeah, I got his number. Where is it? It's in my phone. Can I see it? And of course there's a Mason in his phone. And, you know, you're like, can we call him? He's like, oh, you know, I don't know, man. He's busy. You know, he can't talk. I'm like, oh, text him then. He's like, yeah, I mean, I could text him, but he told me not to text him unless, like, I really had. So when do you default? When does the threshold change? My threshold for Logan's bullshit was super low. And I was like, this kid's lying to me all the fuck. And he 100% was lying to me all the time. Dude, he lied about writing Bless the Falls, His Last Walk album. He was like, bro, I wrote His Last Walk. And I was like, no, you fucking didn't. No, you did not. And then he said he wrote Azalea Dying's Confined. I was like, no, you did not. You did not write that. You fucking did not. So, like, when the lies get too crazy, the threshold changes, right? So I don't know why I brought up that in the beginning, but you asked me what I meant. That is what I mean.
Why is truth good? What is truth? So I guess truth is the area before that threshold, or
it's not a matter of like what is the truth. I mean, the truth is
you said
something that is 2 + 2 is 4. That's
you
the
said
truth.
everybody wants the truth, and the truth is good.
I don't remember saying that.
Oh man, I might be misquoting you.
I don't think I said that. I don't know.
We'll see when we listen back on it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, then we could talk about it next time. I don't remember saying that because I don't know what the context is of that.
I think I was gonna start bringing up something happening because you said truth, and truth is a different word than fact.
Yeah, we definitely didn't talk about that.
They can overlap, but they can be fundamentally different words.
Yeah, because there's concrete truths and there's like abstract truths.
Yeah, like my truth.
A personal truth. Yeah, a personal truth and like a concrete truth. 2 + 2 is 4. A personal truth is like, you know, fucking.
Every time I get in my car, like, there's a spider that crawls out from like in the roof, and it's just he does it every single time. He'll do it when I go out to the car right now. He's done it 1,000,000 times, and he'll do it 1,000,000 more. That's my truth.
Yeah,
that spider even like lives forever, man.
Even like personal truth would be like a religious thing. Yeah, it's super obscure. I would say like a personal truth is more like a religion thing. Like
Bible is completely.
It's a personal truth. Like, it's true to you, but like it's not true to everyone else. You would consider math to be a universal truth. Like it's irrefutable. Like 2 + 2 will always be 4. You have 2 bottles of water. You add 2 more bottles of water. You now have 4.
Well, when you say universal, that's where I have an issue with that one. But we can talk about the subjectivity or objectivity of math at a later time.
Yeah, because we kind of talked about that earlier today, and you're like, no fucking bro.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't bring up the base 10 or whatever for that, but like I just think if so, oh man, I'm gonna have to like brush up on my like philosophical terminology here, but there's stuff that describes like a universal concept and a concept of I'm not sure what it's called. I can't remember, but it's pretty much like, do you think what is the universal, the truest shape of a chair? If humans were gone off the face of the earth, do you think somewhere in the universe there exists the concept of a chair?
Fuck, I'm a man. I did graphic design forever, bro. I think the chair is so fucked up that there's no fucking universal truth for a chair. Dude, fuck the design of a chair. It's the most uncomfortable shit ever. Why do we have like 80 million different versions of a chair, yet they're all uncomfortable? Like, can we not get this shit down? Yeah. Really? So I mean, like, I don't know. You're kind of talking to the wrong guy about chairs.
But like the same.
I see
thing
what you mean.
The
but
same
yeah,
thing
yeah.
with math is like, so say there's another race of beings.
I don't know, man.
Like, do you think they developed math the same way we did? I mean, we could probably be able to explain it to them, but do you think it would be the same?
Okay. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because it's like one.
Next
it's
time.
1/3. Fuck, dude. I really could go off.
Because
like, think about.
No, yeah, I don't think about anything. Next time,
bro. Fucking like
your wife is tired, man.
Think about like a cell splitting 1 to 2, and then the 2 to 4, and like the 4 to 8. How it splits. That's like a.
But we have
a
the
universal
name for those.
We do. The name doesn't mean much, but
that's how we contextualize
the idea. Yeah, exactly. So the idea of 1 to 2 is like just as simple as like the universe creating multiples of itself. Like, not the universe creating. So like, how does oh fuck, this is some shit. But think about like think about like the grid where it's like you have X, like you are X, or you're like the point. You're a point on a line. Yeah. How do you get 3 dimensions? Well, you have to think of Y, and so now you have like the grid of 2 dimensions, and then you have Z to give you 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that same concept is mathematical. So, like, I kind of feel like that is like a universal. I feel like math is like goddamn hard to debate whether or not it would always be universal, because like multiples of something is like irrefutable. The name for something I think could change completely. Like, but because the concept is always there, I don't think the idea could go away, because like the universe has it embedded. It's like if that'd be like arguing science, period. Or it's like if a cell was going to create one more of itself from itself, there's like, what are you going to do? Like, say like that isn't happening everywhere? I don't know. I don't fucking know, I guess. But like, I would say it probably is.
I'll brush up more on my stuff, so next time I can just bring the heat with philosophical
slap me in the
terminology
face with some heavy shit.
Unless I just drop the ball entirely. But yeah, we'll continue it next time so we don't drag on and keep people tired.
Okay, we love you. Thanks for sticking around. We're kind of like ending it abruptly. I feel kind of bad because it was like
part 2 coming soon.
Yeah,
we actually continued this for a long time after this, guys, but this is just a cutoff.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, and then you might stick around for after the credits for the bonus features.
Hell yeah.
All right, peace.
See you. Put it in my asshole.
It's my pee-pee.
It doesn't get hard anymore, so I just fold it a few times.